Hey, what's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Weekly Words. It means so much that you guys are continuing to watch. I pray that everybody is doing well and staying safe in the midst of the coronavirus and just everything going on in the world. Please be sure that you are staying safe and abiding by what your state and country is ruling for people to do. Stay inside, only go outside if you have to. Please stay safe. Well, since we're here, we're going to go ahead and get things started off with Viewers Corner. So let's get started.
Hi, my name is Vernon Rose, and the word I chose for 2020 is consistency. And the reason why I chose this word is because I looked at previous years and I looked at previous goals I had accomplished and I had achieved, and I kind of brainstormed with myself and I thought about what they all had in common. And the one thing that they definitely all had in common was that I was very consistent in doing the things that I needed to do to achieve these goals. So say like with losing the weight that I've lost so far, I made sure I was very consistent in preparing my meals for the entire week so that I wouldn't mess up and potentially go out and eat bad. And I also made sure I was very consistent in going to the gym each week, no matter how tired I was or no matter how pressed for time I was. Or even as being a musician, when I needed to learn a new song on the piano, I made sure that I was consistent in practicing that same song every single day. No matter how tired I was, no matter how frustrated I was very consistent in practicing, and eventually I learned the song really well. So that's why in 2020, I'm just thinking of the word consistency, because I just know that if I'm consistent and I do my best on anything that I'm trying to achieve this year, I'll eventually achieve it.
Thanks for sharing, Vernon. Consistency is extremely important, and I pray that you really are able to be consistent this year as you achieve or work towards achieving your different goals and dreams and aspirations, whatever they may be. Getting started with this week's topic, it's a very interesting one because as I'm sitting here and there's a lot of idle time or more free time since I have been working from home and a lot of my extracurricular activities have been canceled and postponed, I'm in this space where I'm like, wait. Now, for me personally, I'm enjoying it. I am an introvert, and it's great for me for plans to be canceled because of things. It's not me, right? I really am a homebody at times. But I know some people are feeling very anxious and they want to get out and do things. And this made me think about this topic, which I've been wanting to speak about for a while, but I didn't have the right opportunity to do so until now. And so as I was sitting here thinking about the things that we wait to accomplish in life and just thinking about the times that I've been waiting, we've waiting for God to move, we're waiting for an opportunity to arrive, I always thought back to whenever I played sports, basketball specifically, and we would say to our coach, hey coach, put me in, right? Whenever we were at the game and maybe we're losing, or maybe we want to get more points, or maybe we just want the team to know that they can depend on us. Me and my teammates, we wanted to be put into the game so we could contribute to our victory. Now, taking a step back, coaches for teams, they are individuals that have to be strategic. They have to look at the bigger picture. They have to be aware of all the different circumstances or the different situations that they're in, based on the score, based on their opponent, based on the players that the coach has on their team. They have to be strategic to make very intentional decisions about who to play, when to play them, and how long to play them, right? They see the bigger picture, whereas lots of times whenever you're on the team, you're just thinking about the now, like, hey, I want to play, I want to contribute. And throughout high school, I was a very average basketball player, nothing super amazing about my basketball skills. So I honestly did not have that. There were games when I had significantly less playing time than other games, but I was able to be fine with that because I knew there were other players on the team that needed to play in order for us to win. And that was different for me in basketball versus when I was in track. I was one of the more highly talented runners when it came to track, so I was way more involved in different track meets and relays and whatnot. But what I want to get at is that concept where the coach has to really be strategic about who he lets in at different times, I believe that's how God works on our lives, right? He is the coach of our life, and he makes sure that we are lined up for the right situations, right? So that time whenever we feel like we're sitting on the bench and like it's punishment, really it's just God's alignment and God's coaching abilities to recognize what he has designed you for in the situations that are for you to overcome. And when I think about that, that makes me feel better, and it's not thinking that I did something wrong, but that God is doing something so right that it's just not my time yet. Like, there are different trials and circumstances and opportunities for each one of us. And that's something that's been showcased throughout the entire Bible. Joseph, he spent time where he was waiting, where he was in slavery, when he was in prison before he was able to step into his authority as the second in command over Egypt. David spent time running for his life before he actually stepped into the throne and stepped into his kingship. Esther, with where she was working in the palace, she was a Jew, and she stepped into an opportunity where she was able to be an influence for her people like no other time than this. The Bible is filled with people who have had to wait, not necessarily out of punishment, but wait for God's divine alignment in order for them to be able to step out into what he had for them. Paul and Cyrus, they spent times in jail, but when God showed himself mighty and got them out, then they were able to go forward and continue to do what they were meant to do in terms of spreading the gospel and sharing the good news, right? The Bible's filled with people who are benched and have to wait for God, their coach, to put them into action for what they're called to do. So today, really, I wanted to encourage anybody who's felt like they're on the bench and God's just benching them because of punishment or because of something they didn't do. That's not always the case. There can be times when you could be doing things 100% correct and accurate and obediently, but you're still sitting on the bench because it's just not your time. God is our coach, and being our coach for life, he is the one who looks at the bigger picture and knows our skill set and knows our talents and knows which situations we can overcome at different points in our life. So be encouraged if you're in a season where you're waiting on the bench, waiting for God to put you in, knowing that he's going to put you in at the best time for you so that you can shine and prosper and reach all the great things that he has for you to do, right? So the question isn't if you're going to get put in, it's really when. And that's for God to answer. But the question that you can answer is the question that you can answer is, will you be ready? When it's time for you to be put in, will you be ready to hone into what God has for you? So during this time when you're on the bench, be sure that you're still practicing, you're still bettering yourself, you're still pressing in, you're still reading your word, you're honing in on your talent, you're doing the things that are preparing yourself. So when it's game time, when God really calls your name for you to take action, that you are ready. Will you be ready when God calls you? Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Weekly Words. I pray that you thoroughly enjoyed it and got something positive from it. If you have any questions, suggestions for things for me to speak about, or you want to be featured on Weekly Words, feel free to email me at weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. Again, that's weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to check out the Weekly Words Extended Podcast, available anywhere where you stream your podcast. Again, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you back here for our next episode in 2 weeks.